Jackass. All right. Why don't we just fucking mute and get into this fucking thing? That's what I say.
Once a week, three laddies come together from distant lands to talk about Bigfoot, Martians, ghosts, time travel, chupacabras, and the Sweetwater legend.
I think we're all huge fans of the Sweetwater legend.
This is the Fortean Slip with your host, Chris York.
Say no to Quaaludes? Fuck no. Wait a minute. No. Say yes.
Co-host, Steve Alcorn.
Like, take a break, shut my camera off, go
Yeah.
outside.
And sometimes special guest, Matt Knapp.
Just
Right, you're
accept it for what it is and just watch it and enjoy it.
They don't know who you are. They don't know what you want. If you're looking for entertainment, you may have come to the wrong podcast. But what they do have is a very particular set of skills.
There are no cows.
No cows.
No.
No cows were harmed in the making of this incident. We often wish that your relationship went much like that of the praying mantis.
I thought that was a reference to everything being green.
Yeah, sure you did. Carry on, gentlemen. I'm going to do something else for a little while.
Wow, Steve, would you like us to stop the program so you continue to do your shit?
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 125, Cicada 3301.
My grandma's phone number.
Was it?
I
It's
thought
on
that
the-
was like some lost Ray Bradbury novel.
No, it's Fahrenheit 451.
Oh,
It's a
Great movie, or great novel, I mean.
Yeah, actually, I've never read Fahrenheit 451, but the
You
new movie that they made with Michael B. Jordan and the dude who played Zod, Michael Shannon, is amazing. Great movie. But yeah, that Joe Hill book I'm reading, The Fireman, is he actually says that he stole his idea from Ray Bradbury. Which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah. Cicada 3301. You know anything about that, Steve?
Actually, I do.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you go. What'd you do?
Actually,
Were you one of the finalists? Did you make it to the end?
if I did, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
You wouldn't tell me?
Well, no.
Yes, you can. There was a guy, they had a guy who came out and said that he was part of it.
They had a guy that said he found it, but he never made it through to the end. I mean, because
No,
they shut
he
it down.
made it through to the end of the like there was a bunch of them that made it through all their little hoops and stuff. And yeah,
Right, but
there's been people who have come out. It's just they we'll get into it later, but hi everybody. How's everybody doing? Steve, did you get any messages?
no,
No
not a
messages?
one.
Not a one?
Nope. Well, one from that guy that, you had to block. Not Ryan, the other one. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Why?
He called me on Facebook last night. And Alan, if you're listening, don't ever do that again.
Listen, this is why I blocked him. Because I kept telling the motherfucker, stop messaging me.
It's not
Stop
that I don't mind
trying
messages.
to contact me.
Don't call
And
me.
he fucking wouldn't.
Yeah, don't call me. That's all. You can message me. I have the choice not to respond if I want. But don't call me. Ever. Just saying.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Probably a good thing.
Wait. You mean you don't want to tell your story?
No.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I talked to Did I talk to Dean Little? No. Just that night on the show, I think.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. Yowie Channel Central. Steve holding the show up? No. Actually, it was Matt this week, ladies and gentlemen.
I
Not
wasn't
Steve.
holding the show up.
No, well, you showed. I was waiting for you.
My microphone software kept updating like twice.
So the people need to understand there's technical difficulties that happen.
Yeah.
And howdy, Chris. How is the pod thing doing? It's doing fine. It's doing amazing. 13 days? 13 days. So, but just doing fucking fun shit. Had my son for the weekend. We watched Dr. Sleep last night. the sequel to The Shining. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It is an amazing movie. Ewan McGregor plays the part of an older Danny Torrance perfectly. And there's just some scenes in that movie that, to me, were so fucking powerful. And just Ewan McGregor had a way of conveying the emotion in those moments, in those scenes. It was just awesome. I really, really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it yet, as you know.
Yeah.
But, we generally, most of the time at least, agree on movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard other people say nothing but good things about it, which to me is kind of amazing that they pulled it off, considering it's a sequel to a movie that took place decades ago and was like directed by Stanley Kubrick.
Right.
To be able to follow that up with a sequel.
It does follow it, and very well. I like The Shining. I don't love The Shining. I like the movie. I enjoyed this a lot more than I did The Shining. It was so fucking good. And like I said, Ewan McGregor is one of those actors where, you give him the right role and he's going to knock it right out of the fucking park. And this is one where he definitely did. You thought it was fucking great, didn't you, Odin?
Yeah, it was fucking great.
Yeah. It was an amazing movie. So
It's long though.
yeah,
It deserves to be long.
we should have gotten the director. The director's cut was over 3 hours. And the one we watched was 2.5. And then, for the fuck of it, we rewatched The Avengers. Because why not?
Why not?
Fucking went back and watched the original The Avengers. And fucking movie still holds up. I mean, not that it was that long ago, but I mean, it still holds up. Like, I can still watch it and still get, all excited about it. And enjoy it, even though I've seen it like fucking 20 times. The movie's still good to me. And that fucking scene at the end where the Hulk punches that fucking thing, where he fucking just changes into the Hulk and punches that thing in the face, that is probably one of the best comic book movie scenes ever, in my personal opinion. I don't know how you feel about it, Matt.
I think they did a really good job with the Hulk and that whole chain of movies.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was saying,
how the Hulk was like falling apart on its own.
Right.
They kept switching actors and stuff, and I thought they did a good job with their version of the Hulk.
Well, and I thought they did a really good job in that one of, because they kind of had to reintroduce it.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, but they did, because it was a new actor. And I didn't think it really hit its stride until Age of Ultron. Like, I thought they really nailed it by then.
Yeah, building the character and everything.
Right. Fleshing out Banner and the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I really, really enjoyed watching that last night. And then we just spent today playing fucking Fallout 4. Which I got my ass handed to me. Trying to play that fucking game.
Sucks.
So I handed it off to fucking Game Boy over here.
The Wiz.
Yeah, the fucking whiz. Yeah, he was showing me around the game because I got the game a while ago, when it was on sale on Steam, and I'd messed with it a little bit, and it looked good, but I hadn't really delved into it much. And he had wanted to look into it today, so we popped it up and fucked around with it for a while. It was fun. It was a good time. And later this evening, ladies and gentlemen, are you two still going to be able to make it over to Carl's show?
Yeah, I guess.
You guys? Yeah, that's right.
Why not?
It's up in the air for me right now.
Yeah, it's if you can't, I understand if you can't make it, man. I know you get going on, so. I mean, I plan on going over for the.
I mean, you guys will be okay. I mean,
Oh yeah, without you, yeah.
You don't need me.
Well,
don't
you
need
know, it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be tough not
I'm
having
sure.
all that expertise,
Yeah. All that sage wisdom.
all that Bigfoot expertise.
I'm going to look like a bumbling idiot.
Dude, you unraveled one of the things about that.
Yeah, I'm actually reading it right now so I can brush up on it.
What's the show about?
Smeha.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's because
I didn't even know.
Yeah,
we were involved in that process back in those days, and he wants to get an insider's look at it, although we weren't the best insiders, I suppose.
right. I mean, I've met Justin, had dinner with him a couple of different times. And I've been to the quote unquote kill site. So I figured it would just be, be something we could talk about. Because I think we're all pretty much on the same page that it's probably at this point pretty much just fucking horse shit.
Probably.
That's my take.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there.
Yeah. I don't see much validity to that story anymore. And I probably never should have.
According to a very unreliable source, it was admitted to in a drunken rambling.
That it was a hoax?
Yeah.
I've heard that information before from different reliable sources, but I don't know.
Right.
It depends on who that reliable source is, whether they believe it or not, and where they got the information from. But as far as I know, nobody's admitted to it being a hoax.
Yeah.
But
so I don't know that I'm gonna go extremely long tonight, so I can give us as much of a break in between the two shows as possible. But and because it's really just a back-to-back, two shows basically. Because if I went the full 2 hours, we'd be done at 8, and then Steve starts at 9, so you barely get an hour off, and then.
yeah,
Right back on the air.
Such hard work sitting here
Hey,
behind this microphone.
It's not that it's hard work; it's time.
Yeah, I know. It gets old talking for more than 2 hours.
Yeah,
It really does.
It
You
gets.
need a break.
Yeah, you need to take some time, but I am looking forward to doing that. Jesus Christ, it's been fucking mayhem in my state. I was telling Katie before the show, and I told Matt this the other day. There was a shooting a town over the other day. Like, and they haven't released any details about it, but like somebody just like walked up on somebody in a parking lot and fucking shot them while they were loading groceries into their truck. And then last night at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., literally streets down from where I live, 2 men got stabbed.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's fucking mayhem. It's the end of the world.
I mean, the first story, like I had to establish that wasn't a normal thing,
Right?
Where you live, because in Tulsa, I mean, shootings happen weekly.
Oh
you know?
yeah.
But anytime violence happens in your neighborhood, that's scary stuff, man.
It's scary. And this was not very far from me. It's probably less than a mile from the house. And they assume it was another person that lived in the same apartment with them. I guess they're not releasing any details about that one either. And then that I posted a thing about a woman who went missing the other night from Cornish, Maine, which is it's up by where my family lives. And they found her in her car, I guess, in the Ospey River. And they had thought. I guess a lot of people were thinking maybe some type of foul play or something in the beginning, but I don't know now at this point. But yeah. Did anyone die? I don't know, Gabby.
Oh, you figured it out. I was going to tell you that you can now make the video go up when you highlight. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I switched it. Well, I was looking at stuff that I could do the other day yesterday when I was doing the show with Holly. And I found that little ditty. So, yeah, I can do that, Steve.
Was it about Jack and Diane?
It was about Jack and Diane, 2 American kids living in the heartland. Jackie's going to be a football star.
Yeah.
Steve.
What's
Diane's
Diane
going to
gonna-
ride in the back seat.
That's her whole ambition in life. Yeah, he's gonna make the money. I'm just gonna ride the fucking back seat. Fuck it.
Do they realize it's now the 2000s? You can't live on a 1-income household. It's fucking impossible.
Well, as a football star, his income probably just the minimum.
Maybe, yeah.
Did you guys hear about that kid in Virginia?
The kid in Virginia.
Yeah. 17 years old. Like killed his mom and like his 6-year-old brother or sister and tried to kill his dad. And he's like, they're looking for him and he's considered armed and dangerous.
No.
17 years old.
Holy shit.
That will probably eventually be a story we tell.
A horrible story we tell?
Yeah, the laughter was a little inappropriate there at the end. Please overlook that.
No matter what happens to that kid now, it's not going to end well for him.
No.
None of it's going to be good. I have a feeling how it'll end, and it's unfortunate, but it doesn't matter if he goes to jail or what. It's not going to be good for this kid.
Yeah. People do fucked up things.
Yeah. Me and a friend of mine knew this guy who was actually 17 at the time. And he came home and stabbed his mother to death. And then was like wandering around. Apparently, the story is apparently he was schizophrenic or whatever and off his meds at the time. I don't know if that had any bearing on anything or if it's even true. Like supposedly there weren't any problems in the family or anything. And it's weird because me and my friend, that's the second person that we've known who has killed their own mother.
We were friends, Matt.
They weren't friends. But I'm saying there's another guy that we knew who was actually pretty famous for murdering his mom. He shot her while she was asleep, and whenever he was a juvenile, and was on the.
And his name was Ronald DeFeo.
No, he was actually on like talk shows and stuff about it.
Wow!
After he got out of juvenile detention or whatever.
Like Mari.
Yeah, but not Mari.
Oh.
Montel Williams.
Oh.
I saw somebody posting something about there was something this young girl or young kid did, and this is one thing that I hate about knee-jerk reactions and people on Facebook. That little fucker should go to jail or juvie or whatever. Listen, if you've never seen what juvie or jail does to a kid, shut your fucking mouth. I've seen what that does to kids and how they come out on the other side. And while maybe, yes, they do need to be obviously reprimanded or punished in some way, I think maybe we need to look at it a little differently. Because when we throw teenage kids into a prison-like system, it doesn't end well. Our fucking prison systems, or even the juvenile stuff in this country, we don't do anything to help them. We just lock them the fuck up. And these poor kids get shoved in these juvenile detention centers with other kids that have done far worse crimes. and it's a fucking dog eat dog world in there. And I can't stand it when people immediately go to that.
And
know,
we
the-
very seldom hear the actual story. We hear, the side of the story that will get the clicks for the news article that was written
Right.
about it. I mean, like the guy I was just talking about, I'm not defending killing your mother, okay? But like his whole thing was like he was 14 at the time. He had a little brother. His mom was dating this guy who was sexually abusing him, and he was
Right.
afraid that it was going to happen to his little brother, and his mother wasn't doing anything to stop it.
Yep.
Which
So
Not
is
in a
it wasn't-
14-year-old mind, he was trying to solve the problem. And
Right.
protect the
It
brother.
wasn't the right way to go about it,
No.
but in his, like you're saying, in his brain, that was the way to fix it. It's like that story. Have you heard about that one, that girl that she was like in her like 20s, but her mother kept her in a wheelchair and
Yeah.
and she was like abusing her and like giving her drugs to make her sick and making her pretend, and then she winds up killing her. It's like,
Yeah.
listen, I don't agree with the girl killing her mother, but that mother was a fucking cunt. I mean, to do that to your kid, that's pretty heinous.
Those stories really disturb me, where you have a parent poisoning their own child for whatever.
Gabby's got it for us. Gypsy Rose was her name. That's the girl.
Yeah, they made several movies about her.
Yeah. But yeah, those stories, I mean, we all know how helpless you feel when you're a kid. Like you feel like you're trapped. And you get kids in these situations where it's worse than that.
Well, when your parents are the ones that are supposed to be the ones protecting you in life,
Right.
taking care of you, and they're the ones actually doing you harm. I mean, you have nobody to turn to. That they determine who you come into contact with. And then 9 times out of 10, if you were able to manage to get to somebody and tell them, the parent just, oh, they're lying. They're making it up. They're mad because I wouldn't let them do something. Or, it gets ignored a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's and a lot of times they go after people in unwarranted situations. You've got there are kids out there who lie.
Yeah.
I grew up in a situation, in one of those situations, and it's not fun. I can tell you that.
I've seen kids arguing with their parents before about like them not letting them go out or stay out late, and they'll be like, "I'll call DHS on you."
Yeah.
I'll tell
That's
them
a
you're
whole new thing.
abusing me. Like, okay, well, might as well make it true then. Come here.
Yeah.
My son did call
Damn.
one time. Yeah.
See?
Because that when you're in school, what's the first thing those teachers ask when you have problems in school? What's going on at home?
Yep.
And so they condition this child to do things like that, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong, but it's always the parents' fault, no matter what it is. And we weren't doing anything. And whatever they call it, CHS here, came out, and we had to go through the whole process, but it was no big deal. But they condition your children to be.
But whenever that car pulls up in front of your house and the neighbors see it,
it's not funny.
you
That's
get
for
labeled.
damn sure. Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're doing anything or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I looked at lady because he told him I paddled him or spanked him or some shit like that. Damn straight I did. I looked her right in the eyes. That was I did, sure. And there's nothing wrong with it, at least at that time. It probably put me in jail now, but fuck yeah, I spanked his ass.
I stopped spanking my kids when they were out of diapers.
Yeah, he was in middle snow. I think he was still in elementary school when this happened.
Yeah, no, I stopped, and barely ever.
After that, I really didn't. And with Clay, I never did. I don't think I ever did with Clay. This is my older son.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
was an asshole and sometimes still can be.
No, Clay.
Mm-mm. My other
Oh, the other one.
adult son. Yes.
I was gonna say, I know sometimes Clay can be.
Oh yeah, Clay's actually a pretty decent kid most of the time, but Zach, he can. Yeah, he
Listen,
can,
all kids have their moments.
yeah.
You know, I mean, they're young. I mean, a lot of times they don't know any better.
Well, the story is that my oldest son was in a car accident when he was 15, and so it did some brain damage. And so since then, he's had some issues with filtering stuff.
Okay.
gets them into
Yowie
some
Channel
trouble.
Central. Yes, parents should have the right to punish their kids.
Sure.
But from a child who grew up getting hit, i.e., me, there's a fucking line.
There is a line. And I've never stated it publicly, but the line was crossed when I was a child. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's the thing. When we were kids, the line was crossed a lot.
hmm
And, I think back on it, and it's like, yeah, you can sit there and tell me that it was the time all you want. But I never could imagine doing that to my children. And I wouldn't. Never would have. I mean, God, there was one time, Odin. What was it? I think it was your sister. Said a bad word, and I fucking talked to the two of you, and I didn't even get mad. I didn't yell at you guys. I wound up crying. You remember that? No. I did. I wound up fucking crying because they both lied to me.
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go lock myself in the bedroom. I'm sorry for bothering you. That's all you want.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I did. I wound up crying because I was upset by it. Like, I was like, because I sat there and I tried to tell them both. I was like, hey, it's okay. Like, you guys can tell me anything. Just tell me what's going on. And they both told me a different story.
Yeah, fuck you, Dad.
It's just like, I broke down. I was like, I'm not upset because of what happened. I'm upset because you both lied to me.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
He ain't no snitch. You're a fuck.
I mean, whenever you're a kid, you know that like you would fucking weave a yarn.
Oh yeah.
In a heartbeat. You can't find out anything. I am a fucking saint.
Yeah. Oh.
And then whenever you become a parent and you find out that they're lying, you're just like devastated. Like, I can't believe it. I've been open. You you can tell me anything. I won't even get mad. And they still, I don't care. We're lying.
Yeah.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Yeah. We're not buying that shit.
I don't know how many times I've sat there and said stuff to him like, dude, if there's anything going on, you can talk to me about it. And this is what I get. Okay. That's his response every fucking time. It's okay. And that's it. But at least for me, like, I've at least given him the open door. Hey, it's here. If there's ever anything you want to talk to me about, I'm not gonna go over the line with anything. I'm more gonna want to discuss it with him than fucking bash him for something. I mean, unless the fucking kid came to me and said he did something horrific,
It would take a lot.
Yeah, it would take a lot, but I'd at least be willing to talk to him about it.
I
If he
grew
came to
into
me and
that.
said, Dad, I murdered somebody and buried, I'd be like, what?
I've always
Did you
told my
get rid
kids,
of the evidence.
if something like that happens, don't come to me with it because I'm the first one who's going to call the cops on you, and you're going to jail.
No, I would, as long as it wasn't something like, like I said, like some serious issue where an insane crime was committed or something, I'm going to take it very relaxed. I'm not, I'd rather talk to him about it than sit there and berate him. Because I don't know about you guys, but anytime I ever went to my parents with stuff, there was a lot of berating that went on.
I just never went to my parents with stuff
Yeah, I never went
because
to
it
my
ended up with the belt every time, and I
Dude, it
didn't
was
want
my
that.
great grandparents. There was 2 generations separating us.
Yeah.
You know, like I wasn't reporting a fucking horse thief. You know, like I remember one time after years, we're talking about years. My grandmother, my great granny, found my stash.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it was just because
Wait. Porno or drugs?
drugs.
Okay.
Well, weed. But it was one of those scenarios where it's like every time I'd leave the house, she would meticulously clean my room.
Oh.
And I had found, like, I had this thermal insulated mug, and I put it on top of my bookshelf, and I had my bag inside the mug, and there was no way this lady could reach it. You know, like she would have to bring in a fucking ladder.
You found her in your room with staging.
Yeah. And like I come home, I close my door, I go for the bag, it's not there. I knew what happened.
Oh,
So I just like go to her room, you know, she's in her bedroom, and I just walk in, and she's just, oh, I'm so disappointed in you. I thought you knew better than that. And just, Granny, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Can I have it back now?
You know, my cousin, it was his. He couldn't hide it at his house. I told him he could keep it here. I'm so sorry. Like, I shouldn't have let him do it, but I didn't want him to get in trouble. Like, threw him right under the fucking bus. Just lied my ass off.
Yeah. And hey, we've all had those moments, you know, early on. But yeah, no, getting caught with friggin' drugs, or I remember one time I had a porno magazine under my bed when I was a young kid. I think I've told this story on the show before, maybe. And my parents friggin' said they were going in my room to check something. We were out in the yard, and I ran faster than I've ever run in my life to get in that bedroom before them. I'm like fucking taking it 3 steps at a time into the house, just fucking. Ah!
Yeah, but see, that draws attention. You know what I mean? You'd be better off just
I got in there and got that motherfucker.
How the fuck did that get there?
Well, what it was they had wanted to pull my bed out, and it was under the bed. So I just went in and did everything for him.
I got this.
Yeah, hey, why not? It's the only time I ever cleaned my room.
I was like, holy shit.
Well,
I was a little
Because that wasn't a Playboy or a Penthouse. That was a Hustler.
Oh,
that
shit.
motherfucker get you beaten.
I found some. We lived next to an apartment building, just one of those single level apartment buildings. The windows are real low to the ground, and the backside faced our house. And there was a bag outside one of the windows. So I went over. It was full of Hustlers and Playboys and shit like that. Well, I wasn't stupid enough to hide them under my bed because that's the first place my mom would look, you know. So they went in the wood stove because we weren't using the wood stove. We hadn't used it in a couple of years. So that's where I kept them. Wood stove.
Nice.
I didn't have access to the good magazines.
Oh, I just got lucky.
So like I had to resort to like swimsuit editions.
And, well, Luke and Steve. He's
and like
Steve EXE has stopped working.
So like I had like a stash of like swimsuit magazines. And I come home from school one day and my grandmother had found them.
What's the Sears catalog doing?
No, and had cut all of the pictures out of them and framed them and hung them all over my room. And I had a glass top desk, and the entire top of the desk was just covered in these photos of scantily clad women.
Is that like when you get caught smoking, they make you smoke the entire pack?
Yes, that's the type of
we'll teach them
punishment my granny would give me. one time it was like my first serious relationship, and like Granny caught us like, you know, making out or whatever, and the next day I came home, there was condoms laying on my bed. And it mortified me because that meant my grandmother went to the store and bought condoms. A little old woman buying condoms.
And she knew you were about to sink it.
Yeah. So like I started thinking about her, about this whole process, and I know how she operated. So that means whatever clerk checked her out,
She told them.
knows the entire story behind the
Mhm.
condoms, who I am, what I'm going to be doing, why she's buying them.
And you're just mortified.
Yeah.
I remember. I think my mom bought them for me a couple of times early on, and then my girlfriend wound up going to Planned Parenthood. And at the time, you literally could walk out of there with a bag of condoms.
Yes, I loved that.
And she would come home every single time with a paper bag full of fucking condoms. The problem was that there was some shitty ones in there too.
Yeah, what was the deal with that? Was like Planned Parenthood trying to drum up business?
Rolling the fucking dice.
Yeah.
They always gave me colored ones.
Yeah. A lot of colored reds, fucking. I was just like,
Glow in the dark.
Yeah.
yeah, like Owen said, taste the rainbow.
Those glow in the dark ones. I'm not sure how safe those were.
Yeah,
They always
probably.
ended up glowing with a stripe from being rolled up. It would be like a stripe pattern when they did glow.
It's funny. I never tried the glow in the dark ones. I tried that damn what's that thing there? The little ring you put on, not the cock ring, the one that the vibrating ring. That fucking thing is annoying as shit. Like, get that thing off my fucking dick, for Christ's sake. Don't need that.
It's like trying to pour a drink with Parkinson's. Hold still. All right, try to time it.
Yeah.
You're
It's
not
just
jumping
good.
in double Dutch,
It's just
motherfucker.
bad. You know, it's bad enough that you get this fucking horrible piece of fucking rubber on your dick, latex, whatever the fuck you want to call it, lamb skin if you're wearing them fucking things. You got this fucking horrible thing on there, and then you put something else on. It's like, you know, we're not fucking turning this thing into a race car, for fuck's sake. Let's just fucking use it as is.
My cousin was dating a girl that was allergic to latex, so he had to use lambskins with her for a while.
Yeah.
And that was my first introduction to lambskins. And I remember, you know, being over his house, and I was like, "Let me see that thing. Let me open one of these." Oh, dude! I was like, "Well, I wouldn't be doing her. That's a breakup. Like, I'm not sliding that on my dick."
It was, to me, it was like putting a plastic sandwich bag almost on it. It didn't have any hold to it.
See, I went straight Buffalo Bill. Like, Silence of the Lambs. Like, did Ed Gein manufacture this? Like, what the?
Yeah, those things are pretty fucked up. And yeah, I mean, there was one time had one girl ask me to use them, and I was just like, yeah, no, these things are fucking horrible. But Cicada 3301. What a segue, huh? Lambskin condoms. Cicada 3301. I had gotten introduced to this, oh God, a long time ago. It's one of those like internet conspiracy puzzle theory weird fucking things. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. Some people think it's like a recruitment tool. But to get right into it, excuse me, Cicada 3301, the most elaborate and mysterious puzzle of the internet age, is the best way to describe Cicada 3301. It began on January 4th, 2012, when an anonymous user posted a proposed game on the popular image board website 4chan. It said, "Hello, we are looking for highly intelligent individuals. To find them, we have devised a test. There is a message hidden in this image. Find it, and it will lead you on the road to us. We look forward to meeting the few that will make it all the way through. Good luck, 3301. And this image was like, it was like a duck. Wasn't it like a duck, Katie? The first
Well,
one.
that was the second image. The
The
second image was a duck. The first one was just the words.
Okay. And this post piqued the interest of many tech nerds, and word of it spread quickly. The game lasted for about a month and played out like a virtual worldwide scavenger hunt. The coding behind the image of the text contained a cipher, which led to a URL, which led to another image, which led to a phone number to call, and so on and so forth. To those who made it, they landed at a website that posted GPS coordinates from around the world, 8 major cities across 5 countries. At those coordinates, they found a paper sign on a street light with a picture of a cicada and a QR code. Of course, this QR code was another path of riddles and puzzles. Eventually, Cicada 3301 closed out the game with the following message: "We have now found the individuals we sought, thus our month-long journey ends. You are undoubtedly wondering what it is that we do. We are much like a think tank in that our primary focus is on researching and developing techniques to aid the ideas we advocate: liberty, privacy, and security." The game was put on again in 2013 and 2014. But the 2014 puzzle went unsolved, and no more games were posted by the group since. And the last one was it was a cipher from Lieber something. I can't remember.
According to Wikipedia, though, there was another one in 2017.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
What I
believe it.
read said they didn't think that was actually them.
Well, they said it was digitally signed. However, I don't know, some weird digital signing that.
Yeah,
proved it
some
was.
PNP thing or something.
Yeah.
I'd
No
have to go back and look.
individual, group, or organization has ever come forward as the creators of Cicada 3301. Several people have come forward as winners, but without a verified list of winners being released, we must take them at their word. The most credible person to come forward as a winner was Marcus Wainer. I don't know how to pronounce that one. And a then 15-year-old homeschooled computer whiz. He says that the handful of people who had solved the original puzzle were given a vague explanation of the purpose behind Cicada 3301, and then invited into a private chat forum where they were instructed to create new encryption puzzles with the ultimate purpose to create a software to protect whistleblowers. I hope I got that name right. Worked within the group. Wiener, I don't know. Worked within the group in his spare time. But by the time of the 1-year anniversary of the first Cicada puzzle, he was the only one left in the private winners forum. When they released the second round of the game in 2013, he was excited to see new winners join their group, but they never came. He doesn't know if there weren't any winners, if Cicada wasn't pleased with the winners, or if maybe they were put into a new group separate from the previous winners. But either way, the original winners group was completely shut down, and Wainer, whatever, was never able to log on and continue his work with them. Theories on the truth behind Cicada 3301 are many, but answers are none. The most obvious first thought is that it is a government intelligence group using this method as a modern recruitment tool. Others speculate it is a private hacker group engaging in illegal activities. But Cicada 3301 has posted verified rebuttals to these two theories, stating that they only support freedom of information, online privacy, and rejection of censorship for all people. The only thing everyone seems to agree on is that it must be a group of people, not just an individual. With the worldwide nature of the puzzles, it would have been impossible for one single person to set it in motion. But still, we just don't know. And with no more activity being made by the group, it seems unlikely we will ever know. I have no thoughts on what it is. I would tend to think, personally, my own personal opinion, that it is a private group of individuals. I don't think it's any type of governmental body.
From what I read, the government does do things like that on occasion, but it's a lot smaller scale, and it's announced publicly.
Right.
You know, if they're looking for people who are into that sort of thing. I think
Yeah.
it's a bunch of young computer programmers, or I don't even think it's not that it's not a serious thing. If it was a serious thing, I think they'd still continue to this day, and they don't. So it's just a bunch of guys hanging out on Google Hangouts one night that are all into the same type of thing. That kind of
Yeah.
thing. That's my
Be
guess.
sure to drink your Ovaltine.
That's right. You got your decoder ring, right, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
You'll
So,
know.
like, to me, it sounds more like something Anonymous would do, because that's pretty much what they do.
However, Anonymous is willing to break the law.
Yes, and that's one of the big prevailing theories, but Anonymous has come out and said it's not us.
Well, we should trust that if they said so.
Yeah, I don't see it being
Here's
very
my
good.
take
Big
on
guy, Fox.
it. See, to me, there's a huge red flag just out the gate. The fact that it's 4chan. 4chan is filled with these fucking wannabes that can't actually do shit, but they've got some smart kids and they fucking like make up bullshit like this all the time, just trying to get like attention from their fucking peers.
Yeah,
And
but
I
if there
know
was-
this because I know somebody that's like one of the OG 4chan people, and she's a dumbass, and she like tries to take credit that she invented the fucking meme and shit. And like 4chan, like I wouldn't put it past like a group of people on 4chan making up the entire thing and just making it up as a story just for shits and giggles.
Well, the thing is,
Like, how did a 15-year-old kid travel
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
world to
saying.
decode shit?
He didn't.
You didn't have to.
You didn't have to. It was coordinated so that people all over the world were doing it together.
But how did a
And that
15-year-old
doesn't you can't win if you're working with other people.
Yes, you can. You had in this case, in the QR code case, they had to,
Yeah, they had to.
because they couldn't all go around the world to get these QR codes. So they
Why
had to
not?
work together in that sense. And they said, from what I read, what I was watching, I went through that chapter thing that he did on it last night, and there were certain codes that people did work on together. Book codes and stuff, how they found different stuff. There was that type of stuff going on. I know that they tried to limit that because they wanted people to do it on their own, from what I gathered. I don't know if you came across that stuff, Katie.
Yeah, there were definitely groups of people who either in person got together and worked on it, or just in separate chat forums were working together, and they'd go out and search the internet for that QR code. And yeah, there was definitely group efforts. But that 15-year-old kid, I don't think was a group effort. He did it all on his own.
Yeah, he probably
There was
just
another
killed
guy
himself.
There was another guy who did it on his own, but he was late to the party.
Yes.
And he got to the final webpage, but it was possible to do on your own. Although with the QR codes, he did have to contact people in other parts of the
But
world.
like, if we
Other than
wanted
that.
to secretly do this, we could create the same thing
Sure,
and
you
just
could.
lie about who we are and what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it wasn't all that. I mean, it was in depth and they used some obscure texts, but anybody could, if you're making up a code like that, and I want to use some obscure book that I have in my library, it's going to take a long time for somebody to figure that out. So it's not that difficult to do.
Well, and they created codes to get you to the books too.
Right.
Like there was one of them that was Gerbil Bach or some shit, which wound up being a book, which the code that before led them to that, which then led them to the book, which then deciphered the book code that they had. So it was pretty elaborate. But I mean, is it like fucking Illuminati or anything like that? I mean, I don't think it goes that deep.
I think it was just a bunch of young guys. Now, intelligent young guys, of course, but I think they just got together and did it. Now, why they haven't taken credit for it over the years, I don't know. There's nothing illegal going on,
Right.
And if it was, Matt said that on 4chan, they like to brag about the shit they do. So that kind
They
of
like
throws you
taking
off a
credit
little.
for it amongst their peers. It's like
okay.
Fight Club, man. You're not allowed to talk about it outside of 4chan.
Okay.
I went to
Like-
Fight Club last night, but I showed up late. So
But,
I'm just saying, like, where's the proof that this group exists that does what they say they did and like
Right.
recruited these people, other
So,
than
like,
they say so?
in 2012, I mean,
What
was
did the
easy to-
15-year-old do? What
Well,
projects did the 15-year-old work on after he won?
The coding that they were working on for software to help protect whistleblowers.
Who did they use it on?
They haven't. From what he was saying, the guy that was on that chapter video that I listened to, from what he was saying, he didn't see any application of what they were using, and he didn't know if they just took what they created and carried it over into the next game for the next group of people. He was very I won't say he was like aloof or anything like that, but he was just very like, hey, it just fucking, my time with it just ended.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't know.
If it was a serious, I mean, I've seen people like it was a cult or government. If it was something like that, it wouldn't just end, And he was the last one in the group, you said. So he would have been the one that would have been chosen, quote unquote.
Well, no, once they were all in that, they were the chosen.
Right.
That group was the group of the chosen people out of that game. And then
did he say how many people were in the private group?
I think 20. He had eventually said about 20 or so. But that's an interesting theory that you said, because those people started dropping off slowly. It like went for a full year. They were all working together in this private forum. And slowly, one by one, over the months, people started dropping out of it here and there until it was just him left actively working. And none of those other people have really come forward. So it is like, well, who did they go work for?
Right.
But where's the proof that this group even existed, and it's not just this kid saying that happened?
Right. There is none.
And you're absolutely right, Matt. It could just be a bunch of people on the internet all over the world who got together and did this thing, because not one person could have done the QR code thing. Posted those.
You obviously can't hang a picture up, but what you can do is PM somebody,
right,
and say, "Hey, go hang this up on a telephone pole in France."
Right. So
it could have been one guy.
whoever it was, he/she, whatever non-binary, gender-related fucking pronoun you want to fucking use, got in touch with people in other places of the world and had these things put up. It could have been done that way too. Or it could have been a group of people who are working together all over the world.
I think it was
and
probably
this
a small
message
group.
board where juveniles go to post Pepe the Frog memes and say racist shit and make bullshit jokes is where they chose to launch this big secret, we're trying to find super intelligent people fucking puzzle. Yeah, makes sense.
Of course, it got out of the group, and there were some super intelligent fucking people working on it. But I agree with you. I don't think it was much of anything. I think it was a joke. I think they were just having fun.
Yeah, it could very well have been just a joke.
It could have been the kid himself that started it. We don't know that.
Because if this group does exist for the purpose that they say, they've done a really shitty job at protecting whistleblowers.
Yeah. Well, hey, maybe they just, who knows? Maybe it was a fucking, a corporation trying to create software for themselves.
Maybe so.
They
couldn't just hire somebody.
No, because they could do this. They didn't have to pay these motherfuckers. They wanted to do it for free.
Well, how easy was it back in 2012 to communicate with anybody in the world? It was pretty easy. So it would have been easy for them to make this a worldwide thing. We could do it today, and we could do it then. It's not. Yeah. I just think I think it was a bunch of maybe young college kids, maybe not high school, probably, but
Dick
you
Richards,
definitely-
boys have penises and girls have vaginas. Then you've
How dare you? How
never
dare you?
met
How
a girl
dare you?
penis.
How dare you assign gender rules?
How dare you? You've obviously never gone down on a woman and seen an extremely large clit and said, you know what? I'm just going to take care of this girl. Nah?
No.
You heard it first from the youth of America.
Sadly, we didn't hear anything because he's hard to hear on the mic.
Fuck no.
Now we heard it.
Yeah. I was just saying the other day, like I had met a woman years ago, and I don't know. Like to this day, I don't know. Like I'm just like,
I think we can leave it at that.
I'll tell you.
So let's hear from the peanut gallery. I'm interested in what he has to say. What does he think about Cicada 3301?
Yeah, what do you think about Cicada?
Well, I watched that really pale Irish guy on YouTube talk about it, and it seemed really interesting. I won't lie. I really
Hey. Talk this way.
I really doubt it's some government corporation / I just think it's a bunch of idiots on 4chan, if I can be real.
You can be.
No, you're not allowed to be real on this show.
I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up. Like not Tor fucked up, but pretty fucked up, you know?
You've been going on the dark web, son?
Well, I'm just but 4chan will
Everybody
do
goes
shit
on
like
the
that.
dark web once in a
They'll
while.
act like, oh, you want to go on the dark web? Like, here's this link to the dark web, and like you click on the link, and it's like 2 girls, 1 cup, and you're like, yeah, that's fucked up, but that's not the fucking dark web, you fucking idiots.
I've used a Tor browser in the past and shit like that. It's like, okay, whatever, you know.
Oh, just to check it
I'm
out.
sure there's a real dark web somewhere.
Oh,
It
yeah.
isn't what we could access if we really want.
Well, I mean, listen, and it's interesting that you asked for my son's opinion on this because there was one day, like I went on this big Darren Brown kick. Does anybody know who this motherfucker is? The mentalist. He's
spoke about it before.
Mentalist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember the videos.
Yeah.
So I sit down. I'm on this Darren Brown kick. You know, I'm watching all of his videos. I'm checking all this shit out. And I'm watching it. This is cool. You know, it's a mentalism shit that he does. It's pretty fucking neat. You know, and I'm showing Odin, and I'm like, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Well, it might have some validity if it hadn't been taped already first." And I had to like take a step back because I got caught up in like the fucking fantasy of it all. Like I got caught up in it, like, oh, he's doing these amazing things. I lost my fucking perspective. And it took this fucking dipshit over here to fucking smack me in the head and go, hey, dummy, they're taping this. You know, it's like fucking Chris fucking Angel with his bullshit. Oh, look at the balloon shack floating in the air.
I've been watching a lot of magic tricks revealed type videos, and it's just perception. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's very, most of them are very simple, very, very simple. Even the ones that look really extravagant to us are still simple.
Oh yeah.
You know, smoke and mirrors. That's all it is.
Yeah.
No, I still enjoy watching that shit, you know, but
the biggest and most useful item of a true magician is a lie.
oh, sure.
Yeah.
And like the ones on TV, 90% of their magic tricks are performed by just lying.
Oh,
Like,
you know,
nobody here is in on it. That means
Yeah.
everybody here is in on it.
the amazing Randy will get on stage and he will tell you, I'm a trickster, I'm a liar, I'm an illusionist. I am going to deceive you. You know, like that's the whole gig. You know, they're just tricking you. That's all those, and they're amazing, dude. If I could go
Oh,
see
yeah.
David Copperfield tomorrow, I would. You know, he's an amazing illusionist.
Yes, but David Copperfield is old school. Like David
Yeah.
Copperfield, like it's going to be smoke and mirrors and gadgets and stuff like that, and it's going to look real even though it's not. But David Copperfield isn't going to say like, "Okay, I've got a crowd of people that I pulled from the audience that don't know me, like,
Right.
and they're all going to be in on it." David
Right.
Copperfield's not going to say, "No camera tricks were used in this, but some post editing was." Like,
yeah, but I think I want to say Penn from Penn and Teller said that Copperfield's his favorite magician. I want to say I remember him saying that.
See the commercials for Penn and Teller's masterclass? Teller actually speaks.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I know. I'd never heard the guy speak before.
Yeah, I've heard him speak a couple times in like certain interviews and stuff.
I had wanted to see them when I went out to Las Vegas with my ex-wife, and I never got the chance to see them. I also never got the chance to see Carrot Top because he was gone the week that we were there. I was pissed.
I didn't get to see when I was in Vegas. I didn't get to see Donnie and Marie. And I was upset.
Damn it!
I did get to see the Bodies Museum though,
Tom Jones wasn't playing either.
Which, if anyone ever gets a chance to see the Bodies Museum, I definitely recommend it. It is an amazing exhibit. Like the fact that they were able to take out an entire circulatory system and display it as it would be in the body.
Not sure I want to see that.
It is some cool shit.
Here's the thing.
Stuff that you don't really want to see is at the end of the body.
I would be okay if they made replicas of all that shit and put it on display.
Yeah, no, I think it's very, very neat to see it in that way. You know, as it is. The stuff that was rough, there's a section at the end where they go into babies and fetuses and that whole 9 yards, and that is a little rough.
Yeah, I don't want to see any of it.
Yeah. But the exhibit itself is fucking amazing. It's incredible. I mean, just the things that they were able to do. It was fascinating, and almost everything they had up, they would have a little placard that would say how they did it, what they did, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It was some cool stuff. But I wished I'd gotten to see more of that crazy stuff. I wished I'd gotten to see some magic shows in Vegas. You know, all I got to see was that damn fucking water show in front of the Bellagio.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, because you suck.
I did go to Fremont Street, though. That was pretty cool.
I told you to go down to see the water show at the bar.
I was working.
I don't care. You're in Vegas, Steve. You could work and walk by the Bellagio when the water show is going on.
I think we drove by it once.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's all set to music and there's lights and color, and then I went into the Bellagio. I wound up eating in the Cheesecake Factory for the first time while I was there. And the Bellagio is a cool casino. Set up all like friggin', you know, like Greek gods and Neptune with his fucking trident there, and there's some pretty crazy shit in there.
We stayed in Harrah's. It was pretty boring.
Yeah.
The Link was next door, and that was pretty boring.
I stayed at the Luxor. I stayed at the fucking Pyramid, bitch. Yeah, buddy.
Not.
Had a view of the fucking Strip right out of my room. It was awesome. Went over to the MGM, saw the aquarium they had there.
That's the one thing I wish we would have done when I was there. I would have liked to have seen that.
The aquarium?
Mm-hmm. It's
not bad. It's a small aquarium, but it's decent. You know, I mean, all in all, I had a good time there. It was fun. I would love to go back. I had wanted to hope, you know, my hope was to, before my son hits being a senior in high school, to take him out there to at least so he could see it. You know, here's this fucking crazy ass thing they stuffed in the desert.
It is crazy there.
It is. There's just sand, lights.
Then more sand for miles.
For miles. There's nothing else. It's crazy.
You get out of Vegas and go towards California, and there's little tiny little towns, and I'm like, why the fuck did somebody think this is a good spot?
Listen, Steve, there's a lot of holes in the desert, son.
Yeah, yeah,
That line in Casino ain't fucking bullshit. There's a lot of holes in the desert. Yeah, that town was built on crime.
Sure.
Built on crime. But to go and look at it now it's all commercialized and it's corporate. There's a lot less of that crime in there. There's still crime, but the organized crime isn't so much in Las Vegas like it was. And
it's still there. It's just a different organization.
Yeah, it's still there, but not like it was, Matt.
I'm saying the organized crime is the United States government. Like,
oh yeah.
Once corporations realized how much money the mafia was making, they got rid of the mafia.
Yeah. They said, yeah, we'll take this over. And we'll get amazing tax breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Vegas is it's a crazy thing. And like I said, I'd love to take him to see it. I don't know that we're going to make it there to Vegas, but it is
go right now. Just
yeah.
Car and haul ass.
Yeah, I'd love to go there. I'd love for him to see that and the Grand Canyon. Those were the two things that were so far out west that it's going to be kind of hard, but I'd like to be able to do it because, I really think that kids should see other places and experience other parts of the United States before they're adults.
I agree with you.
Because people are different everywhere, and you need to understand that.
They're different, but they're the same. That's the thing.
People are a lot the same, but they're also different. There's a different pace to life in areas. When you go out to California, it's a different pace of life.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Than it is on the East Coast. And, I remember my first time driving down to Florida. I was 17 years old. You ever fucking tell me you're driving down to Florida at age 17, I'll beat you. But that'll be the only time I beat you. But I did it stupidly. But I learned so much between Maine and Florida in seeing these other places and going, whoa, that's not what I expected it to be. Like, because I grew up in a family that was like, everything is dangerous. Everything outside of where we live, it's dangerous. That's all I ever heard growing up. And then I went out into the world and I was like, fucking people like us live everywhere. Like, I don't understand why you told me this.
I had a similar experience growing up. I grew up in a very conservative Christian household.
Yeah.
So everything was evil outside of the church, Yeah,
and
it's not.
It's hard. I can remember my people in my family telling me that we couldn't play cards on Sunday. Or we couldn't play board games on Sunday because that was the devil's. Those were devil games.
Couldn't dance. There were certain singers you weren't. And anything, yeah, you couldn't dance. That was bad.
Play rummy because it's fucking evil? The fuck's wrong with you? Cribbage?
The Simpsons was evil. That was one of the things, You see how Bart treats his dad? That's evil.
It's our evil.
It's
And
just funny listening to you guys say all this stuff because, like, I'm from Oklahoma and we get the bad rep, and none of that shit happened here.
Right.
Nothing. Like, nobody gave a fuck. Like,
yeah, I grew up in a weird family. When it came to that shit, like I can remember it too. Like me and my cousin, we would like want to sit down and play cards or something. Nope, it's Sunday. What?
Well, we
talking about
as soon as I got out of that once I went to college, and I went to a Christian college. As soon as I got there, I realized that everything I had learned was not true.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I see people from all over the country that went to this school, and I'm like, they're supposed to be Christians, but their idea of Christianity is different than the idea of Christianity of this guy and this guy and this guy. I'm like, huh. So it was actually Christian college that made me think differently. It was crazy.
Yeah.
There's a big, it's just a Bible school. It's not a college. It's called Rhema. And lots of kids go there. Rich kids. It's a wealthy school. If you want to go into religion for a career, it's the place to go, apparently. But they have like apartments for the students across the street from the school, and the boys' apartments are in a separate location than the girls' apartments. And I remember like one night I'm at this chick's apartment and it's like 2 a.m. and, you know, we're drinking and stuff. And she goes to this school and was staying in those apartments. And she's sitting here telling us how, like, yeah, we're not allowed to have like guys over at our apartments. We're not allowed to, like, you know, have people stay the night. Like, curfew is like 10 o'clock. And I'm just like sitting there, like, drinking my beer, like, oh, yeah. Like, I'm here right now. You're doing those things right now.
Yeah, you're breaking those rules currently.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was similar at the school I went to, you know, that you were only allowed in the girls' dorms at certain scheduled times. And there was supervision the whole time. There was no mixed dorms at all. Even married couples could get a special allowance or whatever they call it. But other than that, and it wasn't on, you couldn't live on campus if you were married.
Wow.
Yeah. Now it's a university, and
I don't understand any of that shit.
It's a university now, and because it was a college then, but it's a university now. And I guess the rules have changed because there are mixed dorms there now and stuff. But back then in 1990, that shit was unheard of.
Yeah.
But the people were the same as everybody I'd meet out on the street that wasn't a Christian or didn't go to church. You know, they had the same problems. They had the same ideas, just maybe a little bit more conservative. And I'm like, I've been told this shit all my life, you know? And I went back home. I went to school for 1 year. Went back home and I dabbled in the church for a few more years. And I'm like, fuck this shit, you know, because.
Well, I mean, I can remember when I went down south, I was just like, the only thing different about these people is their accent.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like, that's all I mean, other than that, I was like, they are the same as us. Like, and I didn't understand it. And it took that, you know, that culture shock for me to understand that, you know, the world's a big place. It's small, but it's a big place. You know, and you should really get around and see some of it before you get out into the world, so you know, or you get an idea. You know, get an idea what this place is. You know, especially like I'm saying for my son, because you know he's going to be going to college in a couple of years, and you know maybe getting out and seeing a little bit of the world will change his perception of where he wants to go to college. You know, maybe maybe he'll see something and be like, "Hey, I want to go there instead of, you know, staying in Maine," or, you know, maybe I want to go there instead of going to this college that's here, or whatever. But I just think that people should get out and see the world a little bit and understand more about how people are in other areas, so that they can realize, oh, wait a minute, we're way more alike than we are different. You know, I think that's the running theme with a lot of this stuff. People are way more alike than we are different. You know, and
it's all people.
And division, these divisions that we create amongst ourselves are stupid. They're really, really stupid.
My wife and I had a discussion the other day. The first time we went to inner city of Cleveland, you know, when we were looking for stuff, I was scared shitless. You know, I was really tired. I needed a nap. We were at a store and she's like, well, just take a nap here in the parking lot. I'm like, fuck no, you know, because I was scared. But you know what? That is my favorite store to go to now, because the people inside there, and you can tell they've all had a rough life. You know, the people who work there are the greatest people I've ever met. They're willing to help you. They want they have a job and they're thankful to have a job. And all that crap that's around them, they're the ones who are rising above what's going on outside those doors.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking to myself, man, I don't mind being here. I don't mind being here at all. I'm not scared anymore of this. And it's all perception of how you look at it before you go.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, granted, are there areas that you shouldn't go? Yes.
At
I
certain
will say that
times you
there are
shouldn't be
places
there.
that you shouldn't go. When I was in California, where I lived, there's a house beyond mine. Well, not my house, but where I lived. That was on the corner. And I was speaking with one of the gentlemen that hung out there because there's a group of guys that would hang out on the corner and they would play dominoes by the street. And I would go out there and hang out with them. And I was talking with one of the guys one day, and he was like, "Dude, you don't understand." And he was a black guy, and he goes, "A few years ago, you wouldn't have been able to walk past the corner." He was like, "I would have hesitated walking past the corner." He's like, "This place has changed so much." And, so there are places that are dangerous,
Oh, sure.
but by and large, most of the world is not dangerous,
Mm-mm.
and to live your life in fear. I mean, if you want to live your life in fear, have that. I just the other night I posted something about on the Fortean Slip page about walking in the woods at night, and this guy was like, "Fuck that! I ain't fucking. That's fucking. Fucking. You're stupid. You do that shit." And I'm like, or you live your life in fear, and the rest of us can enjoy a nice night walk. You know.
And I got to say something here because I get it every day and I'm sick and fucking tired of it. And you people know who you are.
Sorry.
Not you, Matt. You wouldn't do it. But this anti-Muslim shit I see all over my Facebook page pisses me right the fuck off. Just because there's people in a religion that do stupid shit doesn't mean everybody in that fucking religion or that race of people or whatever does fucking stupid shit. Quit posting that shit on my fucking timeline.
I finally said something explosive enough to make Randy Filipovic block me because I was sick and tired of his one-sided fucking bullshit. And I told him, I was like, "Listen, person who I hope fucking has an anvil fall out of the sky and hit their fucking head." And he blocked me. So
you can't. That's the problem we have, and I think what we were discussing earlier. You can't put the whole entire category into a box just because it fits your fucking narrative.
Yeah,
and that bothers me. And people like anti-abortion people, whether I agree with them or not, I'm not going to say whether I do. But don't post dead fucking babies on Facebook because I'm going to block you. Whether I agree with you or not, you're getting fucking blocked. You can't do that shit.
I've been cleaning up my Facebook a lot lately because because I use Facebook as a way to connect with people through the social media. I have a lot of friends, and I have been going through within the past month, and not so much unfriending people, but unfollowing people, so that I don't see their shit anymore.
I would say for the past couple of years now, everybody that I add that requests to be my friend on Facebook, the first thing I do after I add them is go and follow them.
Yeah.
I don't, but I do check out their profile to see if they're, briefly. And I also check to see who else they're friends with.
And
because if they're friends with mainly people that I don't like to see their shit, I'm not going to be friends with you because I just don't want to see that shit.
Political hatred that is happening in this country right now, and it's on both sides. So Democrats, Republicans, the whole fucking lot of you, present company excluded, the two of you, we're both fucking level-headed, but you fucking right-wing, left-wing fucking assholes, fuck you all, because I am so sick of it. I'm so sick of hearing about the fucking goddamn border wall. I'm sick of hearing about fucking, the impeachment process. I'm sick of all of it. All of it. You
don't get an in-between with this shit. That's the problem. You don't get an in-between.
Yeah.
the extremes of both sides.
I'll go after one side, and they'll say, "Oh, you're just a Democrat." No, I'm an independent, and I go after them just as fucking hard as I go after you. It's like, fuck off. You're all acting like a bunch of fucking children. The whole lot of you.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
And Gabby,
and even the politicians.
You're exactly the problem. People who do that shit. It's not funny. Fuck.
Whether you agree or disagree with President Trump, whether you agree or disagree with Nancy Pelosi, I don't give a fuck where you're coming from, because I'm going to make up my own mind on those people, you know?
And the chances are the people voicing those strong opinions are all fucking idiots anyway that I wouldn't listen to on anything.
Exactly.
Oh, most of them. Not all of them, though. There are some very intelligent people.
Is that most of them don't know the real fucking story.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you and I were talking about with that Rogan podcast I sent you.
Yeah.
You know,
you got a bunch of fucking headline readers.
Right. That's all you got. That's all you got.
Somebody did a test not that long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, had a really explosive headline. You know, it was something that people would want to read the article. And inside the article was a bunch of gibberish. Nobody read the fucking article, only the headline. Yeah. And it was a test. He was doing a test. There was the first paragraph was legit. The rest of the article was bad. You know, just garbage. And nobody read it. Not a single person read that fucking thing. You have to look further. You have to do your own research and dig deeper.
Yeah. I just have such a problem with it because they hate on people for no reason whatsoever, you know, and I don't understand why people just can't talk. Why can't you just have a discussion? Why can't you just, you know, talk about what your issues are and what the other person's issues are, figure out, you know, but no. That person must die. I've heard that Democrats are fucking the scum of the earth. I've heard Republicans are racist and all this fucking bullshit for the past fucking almost 4 years. It's disgusting, and it needs to stop.
And most of the most of the shit that people are pissed off about the other side, whatever the other side happens to be, the things that they get mad about, the things that they don't like about so and so or whoever. 99% of the time, none of that shit's true.
Right.
And if you actually did the fucking research, you would find that out.
And for the record, I've been guilty of it.
We all have.
I have been guilty of it. I've had Matt set me straight a couple of times. And fucking completely rightly so. You know,
if you strip parties and names out of things and just gave people the facts, do you think it would be a lot different? Of course.
Which is what we should do.
That's
exactly what we should do. Take the labels off of it and just have them go on platform alone, and we'll just see where everybody chooses.
Yeah.
Like nobody would know. They wouldn't know what to do.
I personally think who was it that said that the fucking politicians should have fucking their suits should be like NASCAR cars.
Yeah.
All the people who have donated money to their campaign, that should
all
be
their sponsors.
All their sponsors should be all over them. That's exactly what you should see. And they should have to wear that every fucking day that they are in office. And they are working. If they're on the fucking Senate floor, the congressional floor, whatever, that's what they should be doing. Know whose pocket your fucking politician is in.
And it would surprise you too.
It would shock the shit out of all of them, Matt.
Whenever, I worked in journalism for a while, for political shit, and I've had my eyes. I've seen the lists are out there. They're available where you can, they have to release a list of donor names for each party, and you wouldn't fucking believe it. You wouldn't believe it.
So there was a hearing in Maine this week. It was about right to repair for your cell phones and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apple.
Yeah, Apple, but also other companies who are building in obsolescence in their stuff so that you can't get it repaired. You have to get whatever. So at this hearing, because I follow this guy named Louis Rossman, great guy to follow. He does a lot of repair, but he's like the head of this fight for small independent repair shops and stuff. And he goes to this hearing, and all the there's a bunch of constituents from Maine that go to the hearing, and they've all sent in emails. They've all done their due diligence as far as voters should. And the only email they considered at that hearing was from the lobbyist. The only email. And of course, the lobbyist is against the right to repair. And that's what's going on with our politicians today. And I know it's a small thing. It's a small one thing. But if they're willing to do it on that level, where is it going on the national level? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It's disgusting.
He's like, I can't. He travels the country to go to these hearings so that, people have a voice. And he's like, I can't go back to Maine. They're not even going to consider me.
I mean, if you people want to understand the real conspiracy is they enjoy this. They enjoy dividing us.
Well, yeah.
Keeping us all fucking ignorant. That's the way government likes it. So you guys just all keep playing into their
flip-flop back and forth and tell you what you want to hear.
Yep.
And they align themselves with whatever party best suits them at the fucking time. Elizabeth Warren was a Republican, people.
She's the only, now that Andrew Yang's out, she's the only Asian,
That's true.
candidate that's still in. So
but these people can lie like that. People can lie like that.
I'm more black than she's Native American, for fuck's sake.
The thing is, they can lie. Bold-faced lie.
Yeah.
And people just sweep that part under the rug.
Yeah.
Because she's got a D next to her name. Or he's got an R next to his name.
Yeah. It aligns with what they want to believe, so they back them.
Well, I mean, I was just watching a thing that SE Cup did the other day. And she went back to before Trump was elected, and she was bashing him, saying he was horrible for the party and he wouldn't work and da-da-da. And she was like, and I was wrong. And she's like, and all you Democrats that are doing it to Bernie this time around, you're fucking wrong. He's electable.
Do I think he'll win? No. But.
Yeah. Man had a fucking bird land on his podium, Steve. That's all I got to say. Maybe it was fucking almost 4 years ago.
I don't know if you've never seen the poster for Woodstock, but that says something.
The thing is what gets me is that they're doing the exact same thing to him again.
And they will, because he doesn't represent what they want to represent.
And he aligned himself with the Democrats because that was the only way he could get his name in the hat.
Yeah. It's like that the fact that our fucking country runs like that. Why am I talking about politics, Charles? Because you're a cunt. That's why. If you tune into the show and we're talking about something you don't like, tune the fuck out. How about that?
Put a red X up.
Because if politics isn't a Fortean topic, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of conspiracy for sure. If somebody would really...
You have better chances of seeing fucking Bigfoot than you do truth in politics.
That's right. That's the truth. You know how the politician is lying? Fucking lips are moving. That's generally the truth.
I mean, we're in an election year.
There's a few. There was some local politicians that I really, truly, honestly believed. And guess what happened to those people? They got voted the fuck out. And that's what happens when you get an honest politician. They get voted the fuck out.
Bigfoot 2020. Bigfoot 2020. Real change.
I've actually voted for Bigfoot on the presidential ballot before.
Bigfoot 2020.
Part of the Green Party, isn't he?
Mothman 2014.
So, the way I looked at it when I did that, and there's pictures. If you go back through my Facebook, I think you probably might remember me doing that. But it didn't matter. People are like, you threw away your vote. No, I fucking didn't. I couldn't consciously vote for these people who I didn't agree with. on either side of the fucking aisle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I voted for Bigfoot.
Well, it's like living in Oklahoma. You know, there's no such thing as throwing away your vote in Oklahoma because there's no point in voting in Oklahoma. It doesn't matter what party you are or what you think, Republican wins.
Yeah.
And I come from Pennsylvania, and Erie County, Pennsylvania, always goes Democrat. Always, always, always. You know, it doesn't matter who I vote for. It's going Democrat.
Right.
Yeah. Anyhow, on that
I
note,
think they actually did go with Trump this time, though.
yeah, I'm gonna wrap this shit up because fucking hell, and we got another show we got to do later on with Steve Cult. So this has been the Fortean Slip, episode 125, Cicada 3301. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you do not, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment, subscribe. Check out old Matt Knapp at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads and youtube.com/cryptid tales. Check us out over on Anchor, anchor.fm/the Fortean Slip. Excuse me. If we hit 1,000 downloads in a week, I will dye my hair blue. Da-da-da. But you guys ain't fucking doing the work. So we shall see. You can go over to youtube.com/parabreakdown and check out old Phil Poling. I do believe he's been uploading some new videos. As always, check out our friend Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. Check us out a little later on tonight over at squatchdetective.com, or what is it, squatchdtv.com, I think is the other one.
Something like that.
Something like that. He's got a Facebook page, all kinds of bullshit. I'm sure you can
Got
find
all
it.
the fucking bases covered.
Yeah, he's got them all covered. And check out our good friends over at Gas Digital Network at High Society Radio. That's gasdigitalnetwork.com. And as soon as I know when good old Bronx Johnny can come back, he'll be coming back on the program. I know he's headed out of the country for a little bit right now to go visit his wife. So hopefully he's having a good time down in Ecuador while he's down there, and we will see him when he returns. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen,